Tears of the Kingdom has been out for almost 3 months now and has gotten amazing reviews and ratings. But for those who are still deciding on whether or not to play the game, is the game really worth it? What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video here on the Mr. West Games channel. My name is Mr. West and today I'm going to go through whether or not it's worth you getting and playing Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. But before I go into that, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. My current goal is getting to 1,000 subscribers and we need your help to get there. Alright, let's get it. Before I continue, I should warn you that there may be footage of items, sages, or other things from later on in the game that some of you may consider as spoilers. I will not be spoiling any of the storyline in my videos, but I cannot help if you see some gameplay of things that you haven't unlocked yet in your playthrough. I will be the first person to say that I think this game is absolutely incredible and I have always loved the Zelda franchise. But there are definitely pros and cons to this game. Well, today I'm going to talk about each of those and whether or not the game is really worth getting and playing if you're looking to get into the Zelda franchise. Now, when I'm talking about the pros and cons, I am not looking to criticize the game. I'm more looking to go through what I really like about the game and what things I think could have been done differently or be improved upon. Some of you may disagree with some of my pros and cons, which is completely fine. After all, these games are open to each individual's personal preference and how you play this game is completely different to how someone else may play. I am merely going through some of the positives and negatives and offering my opinion on whether or not the game is worth getting. Definitely let me know what some of your pros and cons are down in the comments below. And if you have just started your playthrough of Tears of the Kingdom, be sure to check out my ultimate beginner guide. The first pro I'm going to talk about is the storyline. If you're like me, I love games that have a great storyline. Growing up, part of my favourite games were RPG games with a great storyline or lore to the game. This is no exception. Breath of the Wild was great, but Tears of the Kingdom takes it to another level. I played without spoilers and finished the game before watching any content around Tears of the Kingdom, and boy was it worth it. This storyline really has you on the edge of your seat and will amaze you around every turn. Yes, being an open world game, the storyline can be a bit tedious at some points, but it really is worth it and it was a huge win for Tears of the Kingdom. The first con I will talk about has to do with some of the user interface and gameplay that I found to be quite tedious and I think could have been much better. This is the item scrolling and item inventory I found to be long and tedious. You are only able to sort your items into a few categories, and when fusing items to an arrow, you have to mindlessly scroll to find something that you haven't used much or have not used frequently. If they had a favourite system where you can favourite certain items, or even give you the option to move things around in your inventory, I think would have made this aspect of the game so much better. You can't find or do anything quickly with items, and I know for me that can be very frustrating. You could be in the middle of a fight, go into bullet time, and then have to take 1 to 2 minutes looking for an item to fuse to your arrow. Hopefully in future games they improve on this, as this is definitely something that can be improved upon. Now let's go into another pro, which has to be the graphics and artwork. Breath of the Wild was a staple and benchmark in terms of artwork and graphics across the entire Nintendo platform. Any game that had mediocre graphics was instantly compared to Breath of the Wild, and I think Tears of the Kingdom is even better. I know that the animated world isn't for everyone, and some people prefer graphics that are more realistic to the real world. But Tears of the Kingdom makes you feel like you're inside of the Zelda universe with beautiful graphics, amazing artworks, and breathtaking scenery. It really encompasses the full game, and you won't even realise how good they are until you are playing a different game where some of this stuff is lacking. They hit this one out of the park, and is definitely one of the reasons I would recommend playing this game if you love games with great graphics and artwork. Moving on to another con, and that again has to do with the inventory interface, and that is armor selecting. Don't get me wrong, I love all the different types of armor sets and how they all interact with each piece of the set, but having to scroll through to find each set or piece can be very tedious. Especially where there are many different situations where you will need to use a different armor set. Again, there is not a good way to sort each set, and you can't set any to favourites and have them at the top of your inventory. I think for improvement, adding a favoriting system is the best way to improve this, or even just allowing us to move items to different spots so we can move the armor pieces we want to use the most to the top of the inventory screen. They could even add an armor set button that will put the entire set on, or all the pieces that you currently have. This is definitely something they could improve upon, and even make it a reward you get through gameplay would be interesting. The last pro I will talk about is the actual gameplay and the combat system itself. The Zelda franchise is known for its combat system, and Tears of the Kingdom was definitely excellent in keeping the combat system fun and improving it from Breath of the Wild. I think the most tedious thing in Breath of the Wild was getting hit by an attack and Link rolling around endlessly before you could get up. Now you get up a lot quicker and it feels more in sync to the damage taken. This allows a good mix between getting punished for misplaying a fight and being rewarded for a good dodge or parry. I think again this was a positive for the game and allows the overall gameplay to be challenging for new players, but not so tedious that you have to spend hours and hours to improve your combat skills. This allows for any level of gamer to play the game and have fun. The fact that you can do anything in any method, being if you like to run in and kill things by brute force, or being more strategic taking advantage of the range attacks and then parrying and dodging close range attacks, allows anyone to play in their own style. This is one of the best things about this game, that it's not linear in the sense that you can play this game however you want, and the combat system is no different. The last con I will talk about is the sages. I think the overall sage system was a great addition, and how this ties into the storyline was really good as well. But in practice the sages were a little underwhelming, and quite a few of them I didn't find much use for. They do come in handy, but controlling them is quite difficult. Even though the game controls say you can whistle to bring them all together, this still isn't quite accurate in practice. Also, activating each of the sage's ability can be tedious, as you have to run up to the sage and press A to prompt the ability. I think this could be improved upon by having another scroll menu during combat to where you could activate the ability you would like to and make the system a lot easier. The sage idea was great in theory, but in practice you may find this to be a little underwhelming. Alright, now you have my opinions on the major pros and cons of the game. Now the big question, is it worth getting? My personal and professional opinion is absolutely yes. This game is amazing and very rewarding. Yes, it's a massive game and thus will make it a big time commitment to complete the game, but the amount of different things you can do and places you can go just make this game worth playing. You can do whatever you'd like to and do things in any order you want. If you're someone that likes completion, you can start in one area and complete that before moving on. Or if you're someone that likes speeding through different areas and exploring, you can do that as well. The entire game is definitely amazing, and I think holds true to the 10 out of 10 and 9 out of 10 ratings it has gotten from the major critics of Nintendo and console games. I think that if you're looking to get into the Zelda franchise, you can't go wrong with playing this game, and paying $70 for it is definitely worth the money. Alright guys, if you found this video helpful, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. I'm enjoying making content for everyone, and subscribing means I'm able to continue to make more and more content for you. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one.